BTB747, fittingly called the 747. Look at the size of it. My name is Dom Kingsford, and I am Musicorp Master Reviewer for 2021 for guitars, basses, pedals, effects, and amplifiers. And today we have the Ibanez BTB747. This mammoth bass here is a 7-string bass. You guessed it, okay? You can count them, 7 strings right there. We have a low B string, an E string, an A string, a D string, G string, C string, and a high F string. So we have 2 strings above the normal bass and 1 string below. The range of this instrument is enormous. This is getting into piano territory, the actual range you can have. And it gives a bass player so much versatility because now the freedom for exploring your chords is so much greater and you have so much more clarity on the higher end and higher registers of the instrument. The bass has a 9-piece neck made up of maple, panga and walnut. It's got an ash body with a walnut top, and it is beautiful here. It's a beautifully made and beautifully carved instrument that fits really nicely on your lap, and your hand fits nicely in the cutout there as well. We have a rosewood fretboard with abalone inlays, Bartolini pickups, and 24 frets, which, as I said before, just increases that range ever so much. All of these awesome components combine to give this such a beautiful tone. I found the lows to be really punchy in the gig setting, and the highs cut through when I took a solo. I use chords a fair bit when I'm gigging on an electric bass, and I found this, just having that access to that high F, so useful, because suddenly I had access to so many notes for my voicings that I just don't have normally on my 5-string or 4-string basses. Now, what I did find, which is it's obvious, but it's really important to point out, this is a wide bass now. Adding an extra string, already basses have thick necks compared to guitars. By adding an extra string, suddenly your hand is working that little bit more to try and get around it. So as soon as I was starting to play bass lines down on that low B string, I started to really notice how much my hand was working. Now personally, I didn't like this. I don't like feeling like my hand's working too hard. I like to have a relaxed hand when I'm playing. But at the same time, if I committed to practicing with this for some time, I'd get used to it, my hand would get stronger, and I'd be comfortable with it. So that's a really important point. Going forward, if you wanted to use this bass, you'd want to spend some time with it. It's not the kind of thing you'd take on a gig after not really playing it. You'd want to practice with it, but it is so cool when you get your hands around it. Lately, Ibanez has become synonymous with quality build, great tone at an affordable price, and this is exactly that. I think you can't go wrong with the BTB series, and having access to that 7th string, for you adventurous bass players out there, and I know there's some of you watching, this is perfect for you because it's so much fun to play around with this. It's the kind of range that as bass players we don't get access to that often, and Ibanez has made it so practical and affordable for all us bass players that I recommend everyone should give it a go. For me personally, I'll only use it occasionally, but when I need that sound of that those high strings, I'll definitely be calling on this guy. And for having that low B string, whoa, it's pretty unbeatable. So the Ibanez BTB747, you can't go wrong in my books with it. Spend some time getting used to it and it will thank you back.